There we go. We're back again. Okay, take two. Let's.
Thanks very much, Quinn.
You gotta love live, right?
Those things happen when you're going live. This is all new for us too. First
Yeah.
time
Normally,
we've
of course,
ever
we're
gone live.
recording our podcast and not really concerned about the different little pieces in between, and that's where we run into trouble sometimes. Of course, day two at the X, take two. Let's just make sure. And now we're working. So good. We got audio, we have video. We have the two main components. All right, so we're working good now. Now we're good. So like I said before, which you didn't hear me, so our booth mate in behind us is giving us a little wave. Head on over. If you come into Arena 2, head on over to, if you see our booth, the lady on the other side, Strange Little Garden Art Studio. If Gary moves his head a little bit, you can see just the lady, the printing behind us, Frankenstein's wife. She has a whole bunch of oddity pieces and stuffed animals and the like in her booth. So pay her a visit. And also, if you hear a voice in the background, that is Jennifer Spencer from the Yellow Brick Road Farm, and she's talking a bit about how to preserve your vegetables, grow your vegetables in harsh environments and the like. And so she's chatting in the background, so you'll probably hear her talking a bit. So right now we're waiting on our guest to arrive, and he has arrived, and it's Dave Warner. Dave is going to join us here in a second. Scoot right into the microphone there, Dave.
With a squeaky chair.
Yeah, I think they're all squeaky, Dave. You can put headphones on. And this dial here will give you volume, so you can set it the way you want. But if you can scoot up and just make sure you're talking into the microphone, then we're good.
Testing.
Yeah, you're good.
Sounds good.
There you go.
Okay.
You're number 3, so you can go louder or softer. You can control your own
I'll let
volume.
you worry about that. I understood.
Just don't touch any other button.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, so we were just getting started. We were chatting about Jennifer Spencer, chatting about her preserving and canning and all kinds of other stuff. But we got you here to talk to us about tomorrow's big event, which runs pretty much the whole day and actually scrolls over into Saturday.
A little bit.
Yeah. And that's the Multicultural Festival.
Correct.
So give us some background on that. I'm just going to go adjust the camera.
Okay, excellent. The Multicultural Festival was a new event last year. We decided that it was important to bring some multicultural opportunity, activity back to Yarmouth, since we didn't have that event for the last 7 or 8 years. So we did a little application, and it fits very well with the Western Nova Scotia exhibition. So we said, why don't we try? We brought a group of people together. We said, let's make it happen last year. And it seems to have been a good initial attempt, but we knew that we needed to do a lot more with it. So we decided, why not bring in more entertainers and provide more samples of food product. That's important. Food is always important. So what we have is actually in the kitchen of the Mariner Center right now, they're preparing some of the product that we'll be providing tomorrow.
Excellent.
The samples, it's all in samples, small samples. We have 2 sittings, not sittings, I should say. We have 2 servings at 4 and at 7 p.m. tomorrow.
You'll have different food at each serving?
Very much so. We'll do different foods.
I didn't mean to jump ahead on you.
But that's fine. We'll do different foods, many from Mexico, from El Salvador, from Korea, Ukraine, Vietnam, East African, German, and Acadian foods.
Wow.
So it's a real mix. And we've got some excited people doing some cooking upstairs, enjoying themselves. Maybe too much. We're going to have to slow them down. And we have some more being prepared tomorrow morning. So, and the chef is overseeing it to make sure everything's done correctly. what we'll do is we'll end up finishing the product so that people can come. We'll deliver them down to at 4 o'clock so they're warm if they
Mhm.
need to be warm, or cold if they need to be cold, so that people can have an opportunity to try things.
Well, that sounds awesome, and you know, I think I remember the multicultural festival of the past.
Yep.
And it was a great setup, and you had an opportunity to kind of delve into a wide variety of different cultures. And I mean, Yarmouth has always been a little bit of everything. And
Yeah, a very, very open, very welcoming to people. And I think it certainly worked at that time. I'm afraid maybe what happened was it became too big.
Mm,
And too big takes away a lot of people's time when they're trying to prepare and enjoy themselves, because it's a bit major accomplishment to do. I think this scenario allows it to happen within an existing event. So by being with an existing event, you don't have to recreate all of the venues that
That's
would
right.
be necessary to do this correctly. It's also in an environment that allows us to do things correctly for food. Food is a very difficult thing to do correctly. So we hire a chef for the period of time to ensure that the food is done correctly.
yeah,
Um,
cooking in grandma's kitchen's a little different than
Oh.
cooking food for people.
That's correct. That's correct. We do have a few booths at the same time. The Koreans have said we'd love to do children's games, face painting, some things that they did last year, and they really enjoyed it as 3 families. So they're coming back to do it again this year. So that'll be a little activity for children to be involved. We have some demonstrations of some of the foods being prepared. So we'll have that sort of activity. And the other is we have some entertainers that we've been able to bring in. Highland dancers. Well, we know that we have a wonderful school here in Yarmouth, and we've invited them to participate.
Nice.
We have a mariachi singer. Mariachi band last year was a highlight, I understand, from all of the reports that I've had. So we're bringing in a mariachi singer, and he has some of his dancers with him.
Nice.
We also have a Cuban singer, and we've had some people come forward to dance for him. So they're all participating in a cooperative manner, and we think that'll really help us highlight multicultural activity. So I think we'll enjoy the day. Tomorrow is the day between 1 and 10. That is the time to be here. We won't have food the whole time. It's only a few servings because it's awkward to bring it out the whole day and keep it in good condition.
Dave, I can't think of a better way for folks to acquaint themselves with the rich and diverse culture we have in a multicultural festival. And you mentioned about the children. I'm sure they're enthralled by the different food, clothing, and all of that. What do you hear when you're around when the kids are there? Because they absorb everything.
They do, and we thought last year we thought big, in that we'd have a lot of children around. But what was really interesting was the families of those that came to volunteer. Their children participated and enjoyed the event as an activity for themselves, and they talked about it with other children they link with the rest of the year. So I think you'll see more of the family environment, and that's what we're trying to build. A unique thing we had this year, 3 or 4 Ukrainian families got together to participate together. 3 or 4 Vietnamese families got together to participate together. So it's bringing families together from those cultures and sharing with the community.
Dave, on a personal note, what got you involved in this? From the
I can't say no.
That about sums it up, doesn't it?
I have a difficult time when there's a good activity. My intention was not to stay long, to help organize it. And I don't know if we're there yet, but we're getting closer to making it an annual activity linked to the exhibition, because it shares very well. It mixes very well. And at some point in time, I'll tire out. I had a very busy July with Communities in Bloom and Seafest, and I can't remember other things that I was doing, but then I saved this for August, and I had my daughter home at the same time, so I had to entertain family at the same time. So it's a busy time. I might back off a little bit from some of my activities, but I can't say no.
It's one of the things that we've seen as a challenge in Yarmouth, as a community, in that you've got sort of, I'm looking for it. You got a select few that seem to be the foundational aspects of some of these committees and some of these events, and at some point you got to quote unquote retire.
Yeah, you're right.
Is it tough
You're
to
right.
get younger folks involved?
Yeah, you know that. I know that. We ask often. I was president of CFest for 15 years, and we had someone take it over in the late 90s, the early 2000s. But then it came back and they said, Dave, we need someone else to take presidency. So I had to go and look for someone else. Luckily, I found someone who's very positive, but he was too busy doing other things. And then he decided, okay, it's time to make the commitment that I did to Dave, and that's be president of CFest. So I'm trying to back up a little bit in CFest and do only a few things, not every day. So I can do that, and as long as you got someone to take over. But you are correct. Younger people haven't found their niche. We've got to find the way to market to younger people to be excited about it.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I realize that people age out and they're they're going to high school and then they're off to university, and we see that here at NMC Media. We get co-op students coming in from the high school system, and of course they graduate and they're off to university or community college or whatever they're going to do, and then we lose them.
Yes.
But we always hope, of course, at some point they'll come back. If they come back to the community and work, then hopefully
They
come
might
back
get
and volunteer
involved.
again.
But often they're involved with their family at that time, and it's
True.
a young family. We've had a few people, for example, in Communities in Bloom. We had someone who moved in the week before, bought a house, and they said, how do we get involved? Wonderful. We are
That's
so
great.
excited to have a young couple who were motivated by what we were doing and decided to get involved. So we're lucky at times, but it's very narrow at this point in time.
Yeah. And the challenge, of course, is that if some of these events are quote unquote personality driven, and the personality can't make it anymore,
Yeah.
can't do the commitment anymore, that some of these festivals and events are going to die.
We also have some other challenges. That's insurance and the requirements for insurance. If you do anything with people, if you do anything with water, we found that this year again. If you do anything with closing a street, so all of those kinds of things are more visible for Mr. Insurance Broker, who has to be careful with what happens. So it's protecting often, and that limits what you can do.
Yeah. Did you find partnering with the exhibition for this a crux point or a turning point of revitalizing the event?
Definitely. The exhibition came to me. It wasn't me going to the exhibition. I realized when they said it, realized that the exhibition is changing also. And for me to be involved help them out in this area, I could contribute a little bit without being so involved in the exhibition, but in something that it was presenting to the community.
Talk about organizing a major event like this multicultural festival. That takes a lot of help from volunteers. Talk about that process, Dave.
It's an interesting process. There are individuals that have come forward who are working with immigrants, who are working with different cultures in their own careers. They may be employed in an organization that supports. They've all come forward as they can to identify opportunities. We do need more, there's no question, because if we're going to grow and survive, it has to grow a little bit in size and variety. We took a third of the arena 2 last year. We're now down to about a quarter because they've put some other activities in, but we still haven't filled that. So when we fill that, we'll do a lot better.
And I suppose, each year there's a new learning experience. Perhaps each year there's a new learning experience. Perhaps a new culture that you're bringing into the festival to learn about. So that's fascinating.
Yeah, when the Ukrainians were here initially, they were uncomfortable, but they're now starting to participate in the community. I've listened to there are groups that go out for coffee together and talk about what they're experiencing, and now they want to do something here. So there are groups doing things that, when they're comfortable with each other, they're comfortable also in presenting in the community.
Well, one thing that I think that we can all agree on is that food and music bring people together.
You are correct. Yep.
And so how better to expose folks to the multiple cultures of the area than food and music.
That really explains what's happening now and what can happen. I'm pleased. We'll get there. It's a growing experience, but we'll get there.
Now, last year when you were doing the food piece, you guys ran out pretty quick.
Yes.
Did you plan for that this time around?
Yes. Yeah. We had two servings last year, but they were very close together. And it seemed like some people came and decided, well, I'm going to take 5 of these, and I'll take 4 of these, and I'll take 3 of these. We are going to limit to a couple each, and so that people don't take more than 2. And by spreading it out, hopefully they'll share with others.
Yeah. I think, if people are interested in learning how to make these dishes and a product themselves, that's going to be a different angle altogether. Maybe it's something that we can partner with Eastlink on.
A few of these are actually going to show how they do it tomorrow.
Oh, good.
So a couple at the tables, there's an apple swans edible centerpiece, and they're going to teach what they do to put it together, something like that. So they're going to do a few of those to give people a feel for what does it really mean and how do you do it. So,
yeah, I mean, it's one thing to have a recipe, but it's the emotion that goes with it. It's the background that goes with it that really makes the dish come out the other side.
Spicy or not.
Yeah, well, that covers the Mexican and the
El Salvadorian. Yes. The Korean are cookies, and it's wonderful.
Oh, yeah?
They prepare cookies and they give out cookies. It's a tradition of theirs. And pierogies we know about from fundraisers that have been in the community in the last year. Snack foods, Vietnamese, I think I'll be excited, but I don't know what they are at this point. So they said we're going to do snack foods. So we'll see what happens as we move forward.
What about ingredients? Have they had any challenges in being able to source the ingredients?
No, they know all of these products enough to know what it takes in ingredients to make them happen. We're supporting them in making sure they get the right ingredients. So we're assisting with that so that these samples are given out free of charge, and it doesn't cost them to put them together, just their time and love. I think that's what they're doing.
Yeah. Because one of the cooking shows that I did a while back was Lebanese. We had Mayor Mood and Zach Churchill on, and one of the things that Mayor Mood wanted to do was a grape leaf roll up, something or other. But we couldn't get grape leaves local.
No, that's right.
So she got them from Halifax and brought them with her in order to make it work. I was able.
And they're
to source
delicious, by the way.
They are. They are. And I like to cook, and I have to admit I'm a big fan of Food Network, and
I like to eat.
Yes, but Gary's usually my taste tester if I try anything different. He hasn't said no yet.
No, correct. Yeah. So I'm enjoying the experience, and I'll be tired after this weekend.
Sure,
but I've decided that let's try to make this work.
Now, events like this, and of course the exhibition in general, doesn't happen without sponsors and doesn't happen without volunteers. So I'll give you an opportunity to kind of shout out to your volunteers that are helping to make this work.
Really, it's the people on the committee and a few individuals who have really taken it to heart to find participants. Very limited at this time because the others were very busy. but the key sponsor is the exhibition.
Mm.
They've made a commitment to make this day work, and they've funded it through Heritage Canada and through some of the sponsors of the exhibition. They've supported it fully.
Excellent.
The entertainers say, "You're going to pay me," and they're excited to come, but they aren't used to being paid a fair amount
Yes.
to come and participate and perform. So that's good. It's good in the community.
So what else is on your schedule, Dave?
Oh,
Are you going to
nothing.
take a breath after this, or
Well, I'll apologize to the church because we have an event tomorrow night to open a time capsule we put together 25 years ago to see what we were thinking about 25 years ago. And I had to say, sorry, I can't be there. I've made another commitment tonight. So I apologize.
that's okay. We got it on record now that you've apologized. But after the X is over, you're going to take a breath. What's next on your agenda?
I know there's lots of things that my wife would like me to do
Well,
at
that's
home.
another story.
So I might spend a bit of time there too.
Yes. But you're also, you guys are also a billet family for the Mariners.
True. And we look forward to that every year. We seem to have been picked as the ones who take a younger person, a 16, 17, 18-year-old, not the 20-year-olds, because often they're in school and it's good to have them away from the 20-year-olds who like to party. So it's a different lifestyle for them. But we've done that a few years and we enjoy it, 5 or 6 years actually. And we've offered to do it again if they'd like us to do it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Has that helped you combat the empty nest syndrome
No.
at home?
It's given me more work. Hi, honey. It's given me more work. But we enjoy it.
Yeah.
So we won't stop. Remember, I said we can't say no.
No. But I think that's a side that I think a lot of our audiences, as well as the community in general, haven't had an opportunity to really explore. I mean, we see the kids show up, we see the kids play.
Yep.
But the billet families are an integral part in being able to make that work.
Yeah, it is interesting. I'll add that hockey players have habits, and those habits are eating habits. What do I eat on a certain day? We've had a person who had at 2:00 in the afternoon 2 chicken breasts, and that's it.
Yeah.
Before a game, we've had others who eat at 4:00 because they're going at 5, and they have to have
They're
pasta.
superstitious.
They're superstitious.
Yes.
So we try the best we can. We open our doors to all of their friends if they'd like to bring them over, but some of them are so traditional they don't know how to change their habits.
Well, I've seen a lot of Shelley's food posts, whether or not it's Alfredo or
cookies.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
And the Alfredo changed. We had an individual the first year who ate what's in a blue box, and little pasta style in a
Yes.
little blue box, and all he could eat was that.
That's it, huh?
That's it. So I went I found it on sale, whatever it's called. And I found it on sale at Lawton's at the time, left the store, and the nurse for the team was there, and she said, "What is that for?" And I said, "Well, he likes to eat this." "Oh, I think we should have a talk."
Uh-oh.
So it's fun to do. We have
Yes.
fun with it.
Now, are you involved with the kids as far as like their schoolwork goes, and mentoring them through
No,
life,
just
quote
keeping
unquote?
an eye.
Just keeping an eye.
Keeping an eye and saying because they're parents. We're not their parents.
Right.
We're a place where they feel safe, but a lot of it's around keeping in touch with parents and
Mhm.
ensuring that they know parents are still alive and looking at them and keeping an eye. So we're sort of the eyes for them at times,
Right.
because many of the younger ones have never been away from home.
That's got to be challenging.
It's got, it
Well,
is.
I mean, but social media and technology have a place in helping them adapt. Do you think?
Yes. Although the younger ones, they may have been so dependent upon what their parents and family have given them that they don't know how to. It's not automatic for us. We have to learn what their habits are.
Right.
But it's fun to do.
And you guys have had a couple of you had a goalie last year. Did you have both goalies?
No, we only had one.
You only had
we had
one.
one of the goaltenders,
Right.
and he did extremely well and was excited about doing it. And he's probably moving on. He's got a few opportunities because they do look for opportunities.
Sure.
He was scouted by the NHL when they were in the West at the championship. He played his worst game for that game, the first game, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He still got an opportunity to play, and that was important to him. And both years we've had goaltenders, they've won the league championship.
Hey,
So
I think those.
Maybe we
I
need
think
to have
you're
a
going to get a goal.
goaltender.
I think you're going to get a goaltender
just for fun.
just for fun. But the one thing that we can honestly say, and it's a bit self-serving when I say it, but the video feed that we produce here through MC Media gives the scouts an opportunity to kind of review and really get a focus on
Narrow
what
down.
the players
Yeah.
are doing. And not just the goaltenders, but all the players.
That's true, but they also look at stats,
Hmm.
and stats can mislead at times, So
Sure.
it's important to see the person play too. So I guess all the scouts were there at the championships, and
Yep.
it was a chance for them to show their stuff.
Yeah, seeing it live is cool. We're lucky here
Yes,
in Yarmouth that we have the equipment that we have to be able to produce the quality of product that we're doing.
there's no question. We're the best.
Unfortunately, there's no standard in the league. The standard is you need video and a commentator. That's the only standard, unfortunately. So,
And they may also be the person who's the camera person.
oh yes, there are unfortunately.
I've
I
seen
say
that.
unfortunately, but there's a couple that are like that.
Yeah.
That's got to be challenging. I can't imagine.
It has to be.
I can't
has to
imagine
be.
trying
Yeah.
to do that.
No, not at all.
Not sure how we get off that topic and onto this, but now on Saturday there are a couple of things that kind of cascade over into Saturday's schedule. It's not all tomorrow, but the looking at the schedule, the Saturday one seemed to be the musical performances.
That's correct. That's
more
correct.
than anything else.
Really, we haven't made, because many of the people who are participating in the multicultural are working,
Right.
and it's important for them to complete their work and then see their friends when they come here and participate. The others are professional performers, so we can keep them on an extra day and excite the crowds in another way.
Exactly. Now we're on at 5:30 every day, so
Yep.
there are a few of these events. I want to encourage the listeners to check the schedule and make sure what you're looking for to attend, and make sure what time that's going to be.
We've adjusted the calendar of events slightly,
Okay,
so there were a few that we couldn't achieve that we thought we may.
gotcha.
So there are a few, but we do have the Cuban singer, we have the mariachi singer, we have the food sampling, the Mackenzie School. These are all Friday,
Yep.
and the mariachi singer a second time, more food, and the mariachi singer a third time. And on Saturday, with our Cuban performer has agreed to play a couple of times,
Oh,
and the
that's great.
mariachi singer
Oh.
a couple more. So that's the carryover. Entertainment, and entertainment is something that doesn't require preparing a food either.
Nah. Well, and one thing about one thing about some of these musical performances is the audience participation as well. I mean, there's nothing like getting everybody into it.
Yeah, and we
Right.
do have one of the. I was told by a group of our volunteers that they're going to do some dancing when the Cuban singer's up. So
Hey,
all the more excitement.
absolutely.
it. Yeah.
I encourage everybody to kind of get involved.
And come and see it.
Well, and I mean this is how we get things happening in the community. A, get out and support them. B, encourage and thank the volunteers. And of course, 3, support local. The
Yep.
people that are
Yep.
sponsoring these events, and they're in the program.
Correct.
All the different businesses, local businesses, and personalities that are supporting the exhibition as a whole, but any event.
Our municipal units.
That's right, exactly. I
Provincial government, federal government. They're key supporters often, but it doesn't happen without the local support too.
That's right. And let them know. Like, don't just go out and go to Paul d'Entremont Marine as an example and pick something up because you heard that they're sponsoring an event. Tell them that you appreciate
That's
that they sponsor this event, that event,
Correct.
the next event,
Correct.
because that's how they know that their contribution has
Is
made a
worthwhile.
difference. Yeah, exactly.
Agreed.
Any parting words?
No, just to thank you for the opportunity. I know you
Communities
guys.
in bloom.
I know you guys are really community, and it's going to happen. You're going to put us on the map in the
Appreciate that.
podcasting. So I think that's very positive for us.
I did want to ask.
Yeah,
about
you do want to
communities
ask about communities in bloom. We
Is
don't know how we did.
We don't know yet.
No, we only
Ah.
learned that in September
Really?
in Wood Buffalo.
Oh, it finally
the
it,
conference is
it
in
finally
Wood Buffalo.
gets to Wood Buffalo. does
Correct.
it?
Correct. There are no fires there yet today, so hopefully we'll be there.
Well, between
Um,
COVID and the wildfires,
Yeah,
boy,
it's been tough.
it's been tough.
We did get to Victoria last year, and
Yes.
we're excited about how we did. We're participating, but we go more for the learning experience and the opportunity to share with others. I have to be honest, I'm the guy that does all the writing, but I could kill any plant you can put in front of me. So it's not all about plants. Even us can be involved in that.
Well, that's the other thing. I think we want to drive home as well when we're talking about volunteering and volunteerism in the community is that you don't necessarily have to have a very focused skill set. Sometimes you need a warm body.
Exactly.
Sometimes you need somebody with some organizational skills,
That's
or
right.
maybe you're really good at Excel or Word, or,
Yeah.
or you can write a proposal or something along that. Everybody needs somebody that can do something,
That's right.
and everybody has something to offer.
We all have some value that we can
That's right.
we can put into it.
Now, Gary's got a tomato plant outside his place.
Good for you.
And I thought I killed it, but I found 3 little tiny tomatoes.
Maybe
Coming out of the
somebody,
blossom.
did you check the tape on them that they stuck them on with? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. If it was me, it would have to have the tape.
Now, I can't consider myself a green thumb of anything.
No.
Either. But this Gary and I have found a way to be able to contribute back into the community. This is our skill set. This is where we're happy
That's
and
right.
content to be able to kick in and do things. And I'm looking forward to seeing how we've made out.
Good.
Excellent.
That's good.
Check back in with
I
us
did,
and let us know.
and I did listen to the other one the other day. There was an interview done with Amy, and
Yes.
I teased her about it and said, "I'm next."
We had Amy on last night,
Yeah.
but we had some technical problems, unfortunately, and I didn't have any audio with my
Okay.
broadcast last night.
Okay.
But we did have her on the podcast,
Correct.
checking up on the X, and we'll probably have her back on afterwards to do a bit of a follow up and generate some interest for next time round.
Good.
Excellent.
Thank you
Well,
for
thanks
the
for dropping by,
opportunity.
Dave.
No, I'm
Excellent.
pleased to be able to do it. Thank you.
Excellent. We'll catch up with you later on.
Righto.
All right, you're clear.
I got my 2 things in. Righto. Thumbs up.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks so much, Dave. We appreciate it. I would like to have half the energy that you do.
No, you don't want it when I
What's
fall
your
asleep
secret?
in front of the TV at night. I get
Oh.
my 5 hours of sleep, 12 until 5, and the napping in between when she turns the channel.
wrong with
on.
that?
Thank you.
That's
welcome.
great.
Thanks,
Thanks
Dave.
so much.
So I think I saw Dave Hall just kind of wander by, but we'll
Yeah.
catch Dave Hall on the way back so he can talk to us a little bit about the Tri-12 lottery. Again, we had him on last night chatting a little bit about it, but unfortunately with the audio issues, I want to make sure we get a chance to chat with him again and see what's going on with that. But, a lot of good things are coming up. When we look at the entertainment for tonight, where are we? Thursday night. The youth showcase tonight is going to have Leclerc Bears and Autumn and Adam in the main arena.
Right.
And last night's performance with
Yeah.
that young fellow there. Oh shoot, I really suck at names. I got to go back and find his name. Carson Fullerton.
Carson.
Carson
Yeah.
and his mom were there.
Yeah.
And he really, yeah, Dave's going to be back in about 5 minutes. He's got a cookie in his hand, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Carson was awesome. He was quite the young fella. I mean, he's only 6.
Yeah.
He's only started chording on the guitar like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months, like not even a year.
Wow.
And for him to be up there doing all those Johnny Cash songs and Merle Haggard songs and the like, wow, he did well.
Very talented.
Yeah,
So, I mean, for 6.
for
Wow.
6. You gotta wonder what's 10 years going to give him. I mean, some of the other the other performers that were up there
Right.
last night for the youth showcase.
Yep.
There was a young band there last night
Yeah.
doing country music, and they were really good. The Kids in Bluegrass, that was the young bunch. I
Yep.
mean, to play a stand-up bass, I mean, the big
Yep,
stand-up
yeah.
bass, right? Like
No.
I'm not exactly the musically inclined.
Neither am I
It certainly skipped a generation.
at all.
My dad's a great guitar player, and he plays saxophone and understands all that. It skipped a generation coming to me.
Maybe that's what happened to me.
It could very well be. And then we had Amy and Mark last night as well, and they were doing French. They were doing French music, which is
Yeah.
really interesting,
Yes.
and original French music, which I thought was really cool. So we're gonna try to get them on at some point.
Yes.
Now, my French is not the greatest by any stretch of the imagination, so I have no idea what their songs were all about, but they sounded really good.
Yeah, for sure.
So later, why don't you chat a little bit about what else is coming up on Friday besides the multicultural? Why don't you chat about what else is coming up on Friday?
I got this open because I wanted to mention it.
Yep.
Of course, the Kitty Farm, very, very
Oh, the Kitty
popular.
Farm, yes.
And it's open every day, 11 to 9 p.m. So, come out and bring the kids because they have such a good time. And that's sponsored by TST Trucking Limited. That's Steve and Tam McPhee. I saw Tam just a short time ago. So
Now, Amy last night was mentioning that they don't have any birds. They don't have any chickens or ducks or the like.
right.
Because they're still concerned. There's no alert or anything, but they're still concerned about bird flu and the like. So
Of course.
they've kept the
Sure.
the fowl out of the
Yeah.
question. There goes Barb eating. What are you eating, Barb?
Is that a butter tart?
It's a pecan butter square.
Oh.
Pecan butter square.
And you have just the one.
I do have just the one.
Barb Proof
Well,
just says
she's
one.
got just the one half because
Would you like a bite?
she's already ate it. We're just razzing.
Would you like a bite?
We're just
You
razzing.
would? Okay. I'll give you a piece.
There we go. That's very nice.
Sweet.
Barb
gonna
might be
share
by to
with me,
chat with us
Because I made
at
a
some
pouty
point.
face.
Here you go.
Thank you very much for sharing, Barb.
Bye.
You
Barb,
love this on. Love being live on the air.
that's right. Exactly.
Mm.
Now,
Mm.
Barb, you were in charge of which contests?
Hobbycraft,
Hobbycraft
vegetables.
and vegetables.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
So you might come by and chat with us and tell us all about the winners.
I will, but I'm going to play blackjack tonight in the Monte Carlo tournament.
All right. We'll catch up with you maybe tomorrow then. Excellent. All right.
Hopefully, you'll be catching up with the winner.
Yeah.
Probably not. But
Well,
hopefully.
we'll see. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks,
you.
Barb. This is the other thing that I like about the exhibition. I'll talk because you're still chewing your butter tart.
I am. Pardon me.
This is the one thing I like about coming out to a festival or an event like this is that sometimes you're running into people that you only see like once or twice a year, and it's next to impossible to make it from one end of the building to the other without running into a few people that you haven't seen in a long time, and then you end up chatting for half an hour, 3/4 an hour, and away you go. I see Dave Hall is slowly making his way back down this way. Dave's
Wow.
busy because he's part of the exhibition committee as well, but he also is going to chat with us a little bit about the Tri-12 up and coming Tri-12 lottery. I'll get that out of my hair. But some of the other things, of course, that are going to be happening tomorrow, we've got all of the outdoor events that are going to be happening, all the light horse and the Memorial Ox Pull. And then, of course, the 20th annual Brian Ryerson Memorial Truck Pull is tomorrow night at 9 p.m. And that's always a big draw. And if you haven't signed up, I think you might want to check and see whether or not you still can. But certainly that's going to be a big draw. So come on out and be here for that. That's very loud and always a good event. Now, Dave, your volume control for your headphones is right here, and I got you for audio right there.
Okay.
There you go.
Another nice day.
All right.
How are you guys doing today?
Great. We had a great day yesterday. Had a lot of fun. Little issue with the audio, but that's why you're back today, because we wanted to talk to you again. But we just had such a great time.
It was a beautiful day. Another beautiful day today. Day number 2. I got a little friend here with me. I want to bring with me here just for a minute. This little guy. I'm just going to get him in here.
Well.
Yeah.
There we go.
This little guy is my grandson.
Wow.
Yeah, my grandson Bo. Yeah,
How are you?
he might be a broadcaster someday.
Cute.
He doesn't. He's cute,
I
but
love,
he
I love
doesn't.
the hair. I
Like
love
that.
the hair.
Yeah.
Hi.
Well, because of
How are ya?
because of the hair and how cute he is, you can tell he doesn't take anything after me. Because he's got hair and he's a cute guy. Yeah. He's a good little father. Yeah, he's 8 months old.
Wow.
His name's Bo, and he's just a great guy. We love him dearly. I love having grandkids. You can shake them all up, and you can send them home.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
you can feed them the sugar
Yeah.
and have them bouncing off the walls, and then it's time for them to.
And
time
you
for them to
can
go home.
send them back home. Again, another beautiful day here at the X, and well, I'm really pleased that I have the opportunity to talk to you again today, to explain to you a little bit about the Tri-12 lottery. It's year number 4, and we're excited about that. As I mentioned before, $155,000 in cash prizes up for grabs, and included in that is that beautiful Honda Civic sedan that we have here on display here at the exhibition. So pretty excited about that. We're gonna let you go, little buddy. Yeah, because Mom and Dad's
We've
waiting
never
for you.
had so many people come by at once.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you
We had
stay?
about 80 pictures
Yeah.
taken while we're sitting here.
Thank you so much for joining me,
See you,
buddy.
bud.
Yeah, you have fun here at the X. You tell Dad, take you on every ride and shake you up. Okay, you have a fun time.
Oh,
Oh, Gary's going to get your toes. There we go.
Time.
There we go.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you got him. There we
Made
go.
a child cry.
He's a great
Well,
little guy. We
Thanks
enjoy
for
him a
doing
lot.
that.
And it's another beautiful day, guys.
It is. I mean, the humidity's down again, and it was nice sleeping last night until about 5 a.m. when the wife had to get up to go to Kentville for an appointment. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try to get back to sleep. No, it didn't get back.
Didn't
to
work. You guys put a long day, a fairly long amount of hours in here. And again, it's nice to see you here. And it's just wonderful to have the opportunity to talk about the lottery and let people know what's going on. Because, like I say, it's our 4th year. We're really excited about it. I mentioned before, we do have the car this year to give away and a whole pile of money. And fortunately, we've been able to hold the ticket price exactly the same as it's been
Good.
For all 4 years, $150. And that gets you a 50-50 ticket with that $150, which gets you into all 45 draws. So if we draw your ticket, number 1 on the very first draw, it goes right back in for all the subsequent draws. So you got lots of chances to win, guys. And like I say, there's a lot of money up for grabs. The 50-50 is a separate draw. In the last couple of years, the winners have won in the vicinity of $30,000. So that's another pretty good
That's
prize.
nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what's your reach as far as the tickets go, Dave? How far out are you selling?
Well,
Is it Tri-County?
it's Southwest Nova. So
Okay.
it's actually from Annapolis County through to down to Liverpool way.
Oh, okay.
The majority of our tickets sell within the Tri-Counties. I would say from Shelburne to Digby.
Right.
That's sort of our core area, and which is, it's nice because all the monies from the lottery stay in the Tri-Counties.
Mm,
So that's sort of a plus because everybody kind of wins. So
indeed.
that makes it exciting for us as well.
So talk a little bit about, I know Gary was probably going to ask you as well, but talk a little bit about who benefits from the Tri-12 lottery in the end.
Well, there are 4 major recipients, but but really, Quinn, the whole community
Of course.
really benefits. But there is the Yarmouth County Agricultural Society, or who put on this fair, and without them, this wouldn't happen. There's the Yarmouth Arts Regional Council, the ARC, who put on wonderful local productions, as well as they bring in entertainment from outside. They're another recipient, and they're sort of what we kind of call it the mother company, the companies that are the recipients, and then they sort of spread the love and they give it to the English and French school boards for their healthy eating program. So it's the Yarmouth Education System and the CSAP healthy eating programs, and they make donations to them. So, and in the last 3 years, we've given in excess of $30,000 to those two organizations. So, well, the community, at whole, really is the winner.
And people go, oh, geez, it's a lot of money for a ticket. But I mean, when I think about what I would donate, to charity in the run of a year, if I kind of save that up a little bit, it gives me an opportunity to not only contribute into one event, but it's got to reach. And that's the big thing too, is that, you're going to be reaching out to those healthy eating programs and the ARC and the Agricultural Society, and they do great things. I mean, you got that umbrella approach.
Yes, definitely. It's funny, you said, and some people have said to me, well, it's $150. That's a lot of money for a ticket. Last year, I had a gentleman in making that very same comment. So I jokingly said to him, I said, if you gave me $150 and I gave you $25,000 for it, would you be happy? Well, he said, well, certainly.
Well, of course.
And I said, well, if I gave you $10,000, he said, well, yes. I said, well, what about $5,000? And he said, well, yes. I said, okay, what about $1,000? If you gave me $150 and I gave you $1,000 back, would you be happy? And he said, well, certainly. Well, that's our smallest price.
Yeah.
$1,000.
Yeah. And
the funny part of it was, I was joking with him when I was having that conversation. He bought a ticket, won 10 grand.
Wow.
and as you know, we do our tickets live on Facebook, ticket draws, live on Facebook. So, and people see it's a random draw. Mm-hmm. We mix the drum up every time. And then once we draw a ticket, there's paperwork that has to be done because there's tracking. And then we put that ticket right back in the drum before we do the very next draw.
Wow.
Because some days we do 5 draws for $1,000.
Right.
And in the past, we have had multiple winners.
Nice.
And it was interesting. Last year we had multiple winner, and I'm the one that pulls the tickets now, only because we have to have 3 individuals on site that don't have tickets in the drum.
Right.
So I'm not allowed to have a ticket, obviously. But I drew this individual's name 3 times last year.
Wow.
And it was all 3 different tickets.
Wow.
So, there are multiple winners, and there are chances to win many times. And we had the very first year, the lady that won the 50-50 draw, she later won another $5,000.
Wow.
And the 50-50 draw that year was right around $30,000. So there's a lot of opportunities. Somebody said to me, what are the odds? Well, they're depending on how many tickets you buy. But if you buy one, the most that are sold are 3,600.
I was going to ask if there was a cap.
Yeah, there is a cap.
Okay.
It's 3,600 tickets sold or December 31st.
Whichever
arrives
Gotcha.
first. Now with the 50-50s, you can buy them separately for $30.
Right.
There's no limit on those as to how many we sell.
Gotcha.
And the reason why the Lottery Commission, the Gaming Commission, looks at it that way is because whatever you sell, a recipient's going to get half of it.
That's right.
So that's why there's not that sort of strict limitation. Although all the tickets are numbered, all must be accounted for. Every single ticket, whether it's sold or non-sold, must be accounted for and registered with the Gaming Association. So.
Yeah, I mean that's just the way it goes, right?
Well,
I mean, it's rules for a reason,
and there are rules for a reason, because unfortunately, in the past and most likely in the future, somebody will try to make a quick buck and not do it the way that it should be done. But we are very strict with our rules. They give us the game plan, and that's what we follow.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we want to make it fair for everybody.
I know I asked you this yesterday, but I love the answers you gave, and I want to ask again today, and that's the reaction that people, I mean, like you said, it's a life changer when people win. You know, sometimes it's just $50 for someone could be a life changer. So, you know, what's that whole experience
Well,
like?
you know,
Share that
Gary,
with us again, if you would.
it's hard to explain.
Yeah,
But I'm telling you, it's as I mentioned before. I wish we could record them, although sometimes Quinn would have to do some editing because you know, people get excited, and sometimes their adjectives that they happen to use to describe their excitement, you know, maybe are a little off color, but they mean it in a positive way. But the excitement when you call somebody and you tell them that they've won 1,000 or 5,000 or 25,000 or 10,000. The reactions vary, but all of them are very positive.
Yeah.
As I think I mentioned yesterday, we had a chap, and this made me particularly feel really good. He bought a ticket, and he won $5,000. And when we called him, he was very humble. And we said, you're the winner. You won $5,000. He said, you can't believe this. He said, I was going for knee surgery in a couple of days. And he said, which meant I was going to have some time off work after my knee surgery. And he said, I wasn't sure how I was going to pay for it and pay for my bills. And he said, this $5,000 was just like a gift.
wow.
And he couldn't come at a better time. So that makes you feel good, guys.
Yeah.
When you know you're giving back, but when you hear those stories, it makes you want to do it even more. And as I mentioned, we had another chap that his furnace blew up, and it cost him $10,000 to get it fixed. And 2 days later, he won $10,000 on the lottery. So
Wow.
it's probably an omen
Wow.
there somewhere, but
Yes, I'm sure.
somebody's watching out for those people. But that's what we enjoy when we can give back. But of course, we have to sell enough tickets to be able to do that.
That's right.
Because once the commitment is made, once we get the gaming license and we start the lottery, we're now obligated to follow through.
Sure.
We have to pay out the $155,000 in cash and prizes because once we started it, you got to follow through with it. Yeah.
But I think, when we were chatting yesterday, the theme was one that we've heard many, many, many times before, in that the community always seems to show up.
Yeah, as I mentioned yesterday, Quinn, I feel blessed to have been able to work in this community. Basically, all my working life, I was 35 plus years at the radio station. And Gary, as we've talked many times, we've gone to the community and asked for their support for a number of different things, for individuals, organizations, or whatever. And you know what? Yarmouthians, Nova Scotians, they just step up to the plate. And it makes me proud to say that I'm a Nova Scotian and a Yarmouthian, because the people in this area from all over the Tri-Counties, they just give. And sometimes it amazes me when you think they must be tapped out, they still stand up to the plate, and they still help out. Yeah.
I mean, we used to do telethons for the Kay Nickerson Center with Viking Cable in the day, and the Big Brothers Big Sisters in the day. You guys have done things like the CF Coke Castle.
Yes.
That's going way back, I know.
Yeah.
Where you lock Bruce Rainey up in the,
That's right.
VW wagon or whatever it was. But then you guys came up with the idea for the Radiothon with in partnership with the Hospital Foundation.
Yeah, that was Paulette Sweeney Goodwin came to me one day, and we had a meeting, and she started having some discussions about trying to do a major fundraiser for the Hospital Foundation, because they were trying to buy equipment. And so we had a conversation, and this had never been done here before. And to be quite honest with you, Quinn, and Gary, you were at the station at the time, I really didn't know how to do it. But I said, leave it with me, and I'll brainstorm. And one thing, Quinn, that I was exceptionally proud of and pleased with, I had beyond a shadow of a doubt, the best staff that anybody could ever ask for. Because my staff would come and work, and even on their time off, they'd never argue. They would never question it. They'd say, "What do you want us to do? Let's dig in and let's do this." And I know a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, they have the best staff in the world." But guess what? I did have the best staff in the world, and for years that we were together, we were a family, but we worked hard. And Gary, it worked. We put that radiothon together as a team, and it was a team
Right.
effort, and it worked, and it's still going to this day.
Yeah.
And which makes me proud to think that you guys continue that, and it still works. And the community, Quinn, they come to the plate
Oh yeah,
every time.
Yeah.
absolutely.
There's-
Yeah, every single time. So again, that's why I'm happy that I live here and I've been able to work here all my working life. So I enjoyed it very much. Hi, the so it's things like that, and then the lottery gives me the opportunity to give back to the community that has given. I was fortunate to be able to work in my hometown.
Yeah,
That's something I love doing
yeah.
with a wonderful group of
Yeah.
people. It doesn't get any better than that. That's a blessing.
Yeah. Now my workplace doesn't necessarily connect directly with my volunteer activities, but they do give me the flexibility to be able to pursue my activities.
Mm-hmm.
So they give me a flexible work schedule that affords me the opportunity to be able, if I need to do an interview with somebody or chat with somebody on a Wednesday afternoon, as long as there's nothing else going on and my work gets done, I can take the time and I can go do that. I mean, that's a key element for any community oriented business. And I mean, you guys have always been there in the community as Y95 CGLS and all the way back in the day. I mean, we could sit and reminisce forever.
Yeah, one
Uh,
thing that comes to my mind, Quinn, when you mentioned the Coke Castle, the very first event like that we did, Gary, was with the late Dewey Camo,
Yes.
Dewey's Pepsi Pyramid. He came to me with that idea. Again, we didn't know if it would work, but you know what? The enthusiasm of that man and the drive of he was my inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a good friend of mine, dearly missed, and God bless him. He's I know he's probably trying to help somebody wherever he is now, because but it was a challenge to do that, but it worked. And again, it only worked because of the team that we had to put it together.
Right.
But the second part of that whole equation, again, is the community.
Yeah.
If the community didn't stand up to the plate and didn't come there, it wouldn't have worked. So, we owe a lot as a business and myself as an individual to the Tri-Counties and the people of the Tri-Counties.
Do you think it has that this generosity that we speak of so often within our communities down this neck of the woods has to do with where we live, that we live in coastal communities and rural communities, and we have to rely on each other? We certainly learned that in the last few years, recently with the fires and the floods, and we just seem to pull together. Do you think that's the sort of the genesis of it?
I think, Gary, you probably would find that in most smaller rural communities. This one to us seems exceptional because this is where we live. But I know, you can't, and you as well, Quinn. I'm sure there are a lot of places you go in this community where somebody knows you. It's almost impossible to go where somebody doesn't know you. And
Or
that's,
know my dad.
yeah,
Or
and
know Gary's dad.
yeah, and
you know.
and that's right. I mean, and that's a plus. But because we know each other and because we know of each other, yeah, I think that has a lot to do with the generosity of the community, and of course with the Yarmouth Hospital. Unfortunately, most of us at some point in time will require their services.
Yeah.
And again, people will say, you'll hear some negativity about wait times, but you know what, you get the best care. Those people work diligently to make you better and get you back on your feet. They don't want to keep you there, they want you to go home. So we're very fortunate to have the center here, but that's why I think they get the support It's because the community understands the value of having it and the work they do. It's-
I think when you're chatting a little bit about the healthy breakfast program and so on with the school systems, people lose sight a little bit about how that stuff gets funded. People probably figure, wow, the government should fund that. The government should fund that. Well, there's only so much government money to go around, and the school boards have to make that fit into a couple of dozen different places, and there's not always money left over for some of this other stuff. So this is where the community can get involved and be proactive on some of these key initiatives. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't happen.
Well, that's absolutely correct, because as we're all aware, over the last few years, there have been cutbacks in government funding for different organizations and in different particular areas. School board same. So yes, in order to keep some of those programs going, there's a budget they have to balance, and so sometimes things have to get removed or cut back or whatever. So that's why we're interested in helping with that healthy eating program, because it's for anybody that goes to school, anybody that goes, and it's not just breakfast. It used to be a breakfast program,
Sure.
but now it's sort of an all day thing, and it's all healthy food. So it's important to keep that going, and that's why this organization, the board, the decision as to where the money goes, I have nothing to do with that.
Mhm.
That's the board decision. And once we put it all together, and at the end, if there is profit, and luckily there has been the last 3 years, then the board decides, okay, this is where the money goes, and this is they get a percentage or whatever. But like I say, we've kept the same charities because they're important. And like I say, with the healthy eating program, we've given over the last 3 years, it's in excess of $30,000. So it's a win-win. Yeah.
When you think about we've got to cut music in the school system. We can't do music anymore. We haven't got the budget for it, and they start cutting some of these ancillary type things. The community seems to have a way to kind of come in. We have the music room.
Yes.
With the Durkees. I mean, that's a fantastic thing.
My hats off to those people, because I've known David Durkee for years. And his wife's a wonderful lady. Great people in the community, and I'm so pleased to see that. And they've done such a wonderful job with it, and it gives the opportunity for young people to get involved in music, because a lot of times they can't afford the instrument, or as you know, with young people, somebody will say, "Oh, I want to play guitar." Well, they play guitar for 2 weeks, and then they decide, "Oh, well, wait a minute, maybe I want to play saxophone." So you can use their equipment to try to find where your love is.
Yes.
Plus, David is a great teacher, and so he can help and he can teach. So yeah, it's things, people like those people, and people like you guys that do this cast, that people get to know about a lot of the stuff that goes on in the community. So it's just wonderful that you guys do this, and people like David has a music room, and many other individuals that do what they do in the community.
Well, I was just trying to get to, hey, a hole opens up and somebody comes along and plugs it.
It seems to be that way.
Opens up and somebody comes along and plugs it.
Yeah, it's like I can't say enough about frontline workers. They have been through. It's just amazing when I see they just drop what they're doing to go fight fires or to go protect people. It always made me amazed that when there's a problem or danger, most people are running away. They're running towards it.
Yeah.
And that takes a real special individual. So my hat goes out and my heart goes out to them, because they have been through a lot in the last little while with the fires and the floods. This is stuff that we haven't seen for years and years, and hopefully we don't see again.
And 99% of them are volunteers.
Exactly. That's the key.
I mean, I might be off on the percentage, but I mean,
a large percentage of them.
We're in a rural set of communities. your fire department is likely one paid person, and the rest of them are all volunteers.
That's right.
And if it's your house burning, you want them to show.
They'll leave their house to go to yours.
Yeah,
And that happened in this last episode we've had with all the fires. So can't say enough good about those people. But again, it's that community spirit, and that's why the Tri-12 lottery is successful. It's because of that community spirit.
Yeah.
We have approximately 40 salespeople
That's right.
that are out in the community working for us and selling tickets, and without them, the lottery wouldn't exist. It's as simple as that.
You know, you look at our volunteer firefighters and how that's evolved so much over the years. You know, they're now, you know, they have to be trained as medical first responders now because of, you know, certain situations. You know, helping with search and rescue. You know, we heard about the young volunteer firefighter that, you know, almost lost his life
Yes.
trying to rescue someone, and he was rescued by another
he had to
volunteer
get rescued. Yeah,
firefighter. It's, you know, it's just amazing what they can do, and they give all, you know, and most of them have full-time jobs
And families.
and kudos to the employers that
That's right.
allow them to
Yep.
respond.
We were someone and I was having a discussion about that very thing today, because some of them were away from their jobs for extended periods of
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
because they were needed. So the employer, for them to just say, okay, well, you can go because somebody's going to fill their spot where they work. So again, it's that strong community spirit. As with the exhibition, you see the people out.
Yeah.
You see them supporting the exhibition because the people didn't come through the door and didn't come through the gate. It wouldn't exist.
that's right.
You know, they have major sponsors, which without those major sponsors, they'd be in trouble financially. But
Yeah.
it takes people to support it and come out through the door and support it. And it looks like that's happening because I see a lot of people with smiles on their faces when they come and go.
Yeah.
So they must be enjoying it.
Well, and that's the big thing. And we all, you know, Gary and I, it's like a broken record. We say it every time we talk to somebody about an event is, you know, you can't do it without volunteers and you can't do it without sponsors. And I mean, inside the program, you've got your list of all the sponsors. I'm going to hold it up so the camera can see it. You know, you've got your list of sponsors. Support local, but don't just go out to, you know, CASA or the Rod Grand or Paul d'Entremont Marine or Tri-County Tractor or whatever and support them, you know, explicitly just because they're here. Let them know that you appreciate that they support an event like the exhibition.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, let them know that you specifically tell them that you appreciate that, because then they know that the money that they're putting in has that value.
Exactly. It's like we were fortunate that this year with the lottery that Bruce Honda came to the plate and is assisting us with the vehicle. Now we have to purchase the vehicle, but they've been very generous in dealing with us, and they're just wonderful people to work with, and that's how we get some of the prize like a vehicle. I mean, it's not a 50-cent prize.
No.
You can either take the vehicle or $25,000, but somebody's going to win it. Somebody, we do that draw on December 31st.
That's right.
And somebody will win that vehicle.
Yeah.
Some lucky ticket holder. And again,
Great way to start the new year.
That's right. Again, it comes down to that $150 purchase. Is the new car worth $150? I think so.
Yeah.
But and again, that's what makes it fun for us when we can call people and we can let them know. As I mentioned, I think last time we have a way people buy a lot of tickets for Christmas presents.
Yes, I was going to mention that.
Yeah, they do, and they make a great Christmas present. People have come to us and said, you know, gee, mom and dad or my grandparents or my uncles or whatever, and we have no idea what to get them for Christmas because they have everything.
Yeah.
And if they don't,
they got.
If they want
Yeah.
it, they get it themselves. Well, this ticket lets them play along right until the end of March. So, and it lets them participate in all 45 draws. But we have a way of keeping the secret. If somebody buys a ticket for someone as a gift, Christmas gift,
Yes.
what we do is if the person wins, we contact the person that bought the ticket and we say, do you want us to let them know that they've won, and you have purchased them a ticket, because we do draws. A few draws, early birds before Christmas. We have an early bird in November for $5,000, and we have an early bird in early December for $5,000.
Right.
So, but it's kind of fun. Last year we called somebody and they had won, and it was a Christmas present. We called the purchaser and they said, no, it's fine. Let them know.
Oh,
So we called and he said, oh, by the way, you won $5,000. And the guy says, well, I couldn't have. I don't have a ticket. Well, yes,
Surprise.
you do. Is this your name and address? Yes. You bring us some identification, and we're going to give you a check for $5,000 because so and so bought you this ticket as a Christmas present.
yeah.
And the beauty of it is, they didn't know, and they still had the opportunity to play right through until March
Yeah.
because their ticket goes back in the drum. So it was kind of fun when you get into that type of scenario. It's fun for us. As I've mentioned many times, Quinn and Gary, my line. I love giving away money when it's not mine. And so it's. I wish I had the money to give away, but it's fun. It's fun when we get to that stage. And
People tune into the radio to hear you say that.
well, it's funny because a year or so ago, I don't know where it came into my head or why. Sometimes I wonder what's in my head, and so don't others. But I came out with this line: "If you're not in it, you can't win it."
That's right.
And it just stuck as a catchphrase. And people would actually walk into the lotto shop and go, "You know what? If I'm not in it, I can't win it." So it became sort of a running joke. But
Well, people are listening.
yeah, but it is a fact. If you're not in,
That's
you
right.
can't win. But it makes it kind of fun, and that's what we want. We want people to feel good about their ticket purchase. We want them to look at it and go, okay, even if you don't pull my ticket, I've supported great causes. You're still a winner. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant
Yeah.
about, I'm going to donate X number of dollars likely into a bunch of different charities
Yeah.
in the run of a year. Anyways, if I go out and I spend money and I get a ticket, if I win, I win. If I don't, hey, it is what it is. Right?
Well, and like I say, that's why we like to for people to have fun with it.
Leave that alone,
and feel,
Wade Cleveland.
and feel good about making that purchase. That's the way we look at it. And and again, it sort of spreads the money in the community. Everything we buy, pens, pencils, books, the vehicle, all of our posters, any money we spend, we buy locally.
Yeah.
Tickets are made locally, posters are made locally. So we try to keep all the money stays in the community, and it just kind of rolls back into the community. So again, it's everybody wins.
Now they're not on sale
that's
yet.
it.
No, they will be on sale 1st of September.
Okay.
And we will be opening the Lotto shop in the Yarmouth Mall in the same location, in the old, what I call the old GNC store. As you probably heard me mention many times, easiest way to find it: go in the Sobeys end of the mall,
Walk straight.
go down the ramp, stop. When you get to the bottom of the ramp, look left, and there we are. And we always have a big display and stuff, so you can't miss us if you go in there. But like I say, ticket sales start around the 1st of September. Tickets are the same price, $150, including a 50/50, or $30.
And you can buy extra
for the extras. Yep.
Yep.
And like I say, you get to be in all the draws. So it's we're geared up, and we're looking forward to hopefully another successful year.
Well, we certainly appreciate you coming back and talking to us a second time. I apologize for the technical issues on the first time, but we'll still probably be talking with you at some point in between and seeing how things are going on ticket sales. And
Well,
and
I
where
always
things are.
appreciate the opportunity that you guys give me to promote the Tri-12 Lottery, and of course, don't forget to come out to the exhibition. You can see the car that you may win.
That's right.
It's on display here in the commercial building, just down a little ways from where we are right now. And there's a lot to see here at the exhibition. One point I would like to make, though, so that people will realize, in order to get in here, it's cash only, because they don't have the ability to take debit or credit card.
That's right.
So please make sure you got cash, because otherwise you're going to have to go find some, and that's an inconvenience for anybody.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we found that I didn't know, I learned something new every day.
I do too.
Yeah, and so my day's not useless, but because I learn something new every day. I learned today in the bouncy castle you can't go in it unless you got socks on.
That's right.
I didn't know that,
Ah.
so I got to go get my socks because I want to go in the bouncy castle. They
Is it-
won't let me in without socks on.
Is it rated for adults?
I think probably it is, but I've always said, I'll grow old,
Mhm.
but I'm never going to grow up.
No,
I refuse to grow up.
there's no fun in that.
So maybe with that attitude, they might let me in the
They
in
might
the bouncy
let you in.
castle.
They might let you in the back.
Guys, it's been really nice chatting
Thanks a
with
lot,
you
Dave. I
today.
appreciate it.
Thanks again for the opportunity to talk about the Tri-12 lottery and the history of it a bit, and hopefully the future of it. And again, I want to thank both of you for what you do in the community with this broadcast and with your program,
Appreciate it.
because you've educated myself, and I know you've educated a lot of other people. It's interesting, it's informative, and you know what? You make it a lot of fun.
I
So
appreciate
thanks
it.
for your time, guys.
Thanks, guys.
I certainly do appreciate it.
Excellent. Well, we'll let you scoot out. I'll mute your line there, so we're good to go. And we had a
Oh,
Yeah,
and
well,
thank you for letting
switch
me
out.
bring my
I'm
grandson.
just going to adjust my seat cushion here.
oh, okay, fine. You go right ahead. Come on in, Mr. Wade Cleveland. Wade sort of dropped in. He's chatting with Dave in the background, but we'll get him to have a seat in a second.
That's better.
There
There
you
we
go.
are, all
All
set.
right. All set.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean the Tri-12 lottery is a key thing to support in with the community. There are a few what's the word I'm looking for, critical events that happen within
Yeah.
the community that support a lot of things that go on behind the scenes. Coal Shed's coming up here shortly within the next few weeks, and that's another one that supports the school breakfast program with Phil DeMille and all the musical talent. So I mean, as Dave was talking about, Dave Warner was talking about getting young folks involved in the community and what's going on. There are a lot of young people involved with music. And, there's a lot of other folks involved in music in the community that are available there to help mentor them and point them in the right direction. Phil DeMille certainly is a great supporter of local music. Another great supporter of local music coming this year has been Ignite Labs, because they're sponsoring the youth music showcase and a couple of songwriter circles and the like at Ignite Labs. And we're joined by Mr. Wade Cleveland from Ignite.
Why, hello.
And there, your mic is live,
Why, hello.
and that's your headphone volume right there.
What?
Yeah, what?
I'm kidding.
We had a little technical problem last night. We ended up broadcasting with no audio.
I find
it's
that
unfortunate.
when you're doing something with radio and hearing and you can't hear it, it just
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
work. Yeah, it's not as good. You had no sign language interpreters, and so it didn't go.
Well, we were expecting somebody to just chime in on the chat and tell us we can't hear you,
And nobody did.
And unfortunately, that didn't happen. But that's okay. We sorted it out.
Hi, Gary.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I've seen you before.
Yeah, I've seen you on occasion, here and there. It's good to see you.
We were just chatting about Ignite Labs sponsorship and involvement in the youth music scene. So,
Yeah.
why don't you chat a little bit about that and what you guys are doing at the exhibition this year?
Well, I guess everything kind of starts when it comes to youth and music. When it comes to youth and music, it all kind of starts with our belief in innovation. So at its core, Ignite is an innovation hub. That's what we do. And we have 4 different pillars. So, and I always kind of have to do this because most people are always asking me, well, I know the building, I know what's going on, sort of, but I don't understand really what you are. So we are an innovation hub. We have 4 big pillars, and those are entrepreneurs and industry, and we try to keep those guys together, community and youth. And when it comes to innovation stems from creativity. That's how things work. It's all about creativity. And that kind of led our thinking, or my thinking especially, because I'm musically inclined and I kind of lean towards those kind of things. I developed a concept early on in my time there to put together this music and creative arts program. and we were fortunate to get some funding for it and to get some things on the way. So while all of that is happening, while all of that was going on, of course, everything was getting put in place for Music Nova Scotia to come back and do Nova Scotia Music Week. And so we were very excited about that. And if you're trying to do anything creative and you want to give the kids an opportunity to exercise their own creativity, what better way than with music? And there's music everywhere. This is a very musical area, but I always compare it in the way that you look at, for example, Cape Breton, and Cape Breton has this vibrant, almost music industry. So they have all these people who are doing original music. It's a huge community. And while we have some ridiculously talented musicians, and we have some who are doing original music, for the most part, what we're getting are people who do covers, and that's perfectly fair. I mean, I spent my whole music career doing covers because that's what gets people dancing. That's what gets people, gigs wherever they may be. But with the music and arts entertainment that Ignite is doing, working with youth, put together with Music Nova Scotia and what they're doing with Nova Scotia Music Week, I thought, what a perfect way to kind of meld everything together and create something kind of special. So over the last while, Ignite has been doing these different programs. We've done everything from videography to songwriters circles, and encouraged everybody to have a chance to get together and kind of do some creating, or at least be able to be in a safe environment where they can kind of show what they're doing. And there are some talented youth out there. It's crazy. So I got Nova Scotia Music Week interested in what Ignite is doing, and convinced them that it would be a great idea if we had some youth showcases happening at Nova Scotia Music Week. And they were very enthusiastic, thank goodness. And so Ignite is going to be sponsoring, and actually I'm personally going to be putting together a showcase opportunity for youth. We sent out, and this is an editorial because it was mostly done by Nova Scotia Music Week, but they assembled kind of a survey and sent it out to their young audience, the young people who are members of Music Nova Scotia. You can be a member of Music Nova Scotia. If you're under 18, you can become a member for free.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So it gives you that opportunity. So they sent out surveys asking them what they'd be interested in as far as if we were doing sessions. Songwriting, for example, was a huge one. There are other things too, production and other things. So we're going to have on the Saturday of Nova Scotia Music Week, we're going to have not just those sessions for youth, but we're going to have showcases where young artists, 21 and younger. So that's the age kind of breakup. So if you're 21 or younger, you count as a youth.
I don't think any of us qualify.
Yeah, I'm pretty much out of that.
I think we're long gone.
I'm an older youth. Much older youth. So anyway, I'm taking applications now, as a matter of fact, and it'll be a paid gig. 30 minutes. Everybody will have a 30-minute gig. I have space for about 6 artists to perform. And so that led, I know this is a long story, isn't it?
No, it's good.
That led to me reaching out to Kim Anderson to talk to her, because she has a lot of experience working with youth and working with Nova Scotia, Music Nova Scotia. And so I was literally, this is the truth, I swear, I was literally on my phone writing a message to her when I got a message from her, and we don't talk, not often, saying, can we have a chat? Because I have something I want to talk to you about.
Yes.
And I said, what a coincidence. So do I. And so she called me and she said, look, I know what you guys are up to, and I was wondering if you'd be interested in helping us out with what we're doing at the exhibition. And their youth rendezvous is what she's put together. And actually, her original plan didn't quite work out exactly the way that it does, but we're proudly sponsoring that. And any of the youth who perform over the next few days in this youth rendezvous, it's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, if they do originals, they have the opportunity to showcase at Nova Scotia Music Week. All I have to do is come to me and fill out the application. Bob's your uncle. It's kind of that simple. And we have some real talent here. People like Amy Hirschfeld and Marley Bubar, who actually is not as she is a youth, but she's going to be showcasing anyway, not as a youth, but just as a performer because she's ridiculously talented. We have others as well. We have a lot of these. And so my hope is that starting here with what we've been doing, and it's every night at 7 o'clock, I'm talking through the beginning of the Youth Rendezvous that's here. And then later, as we kind of build everything up at Nova Scotia Music Week in November, we're going to have the youth have that opportunity to kind of show their stuff. And I'm hoping it's a spark to kind of build from there. You start small and get bigger.
So it is original music. That's the whole idea. So when they do their 30-minute showcase for Music Week, it's all original music.
That's what the mandate of Music Nova Scotia is. It's about
Okay.
supporting artists, but primarily it's about supporting artists with their original music. So it's not cover bands and that kind of thing.
Well, and I mean, that gives them additional opportunities when it comes to promotion and even broadcasting, because we all know what the limitations are like when you're doing cover songs.
Yes,
So, for them to be able to do original music opens a lot of doors that way.
it opens a lot of doors. It gives them a lot of different opportunities. It gives them a chance to kind of get out there. And as a youth, even if you don't take it that much further, it is an enormously fulfilling experience to be able to
Sure.
perform that way and in a safe manner. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you know that you're performing in front of people who are going to really appreciate it. They're going to have the opportunity at Music Nova Scotia to perform Nova Scotia Music Week. And it's the same words, but in different order. They're going to have the opportunity to perform in front of industry people. So, I mean, there's
People that get it.
yeah, exactly. And who can offer real constructive criticism, help, and support moving forward. So again, with a little spark, maybe you can build a pretty big bonfire.
It never ceases to amaze me, Wade, the immense talent, young people, especially in this area. And, you've been involved since you were
is.
very young. I mean, it's just, where does that come from? Is there little people,
It's in the water,
family
right?
members? Is it, how?
You know what? I honestly do. This is going to sound corny in a way, I suppose, but you know what? It comes through the culture.
Yeah.
In the same way that Cape Breton kind of has that culture, we have it too. We have it in
Sure.
spades with our Scottish culture, especially with our French Acadian culture. Music is everywhere, and it builds. You go to Parambas, you go to Clare, everybody has guitars, everybody has pianos, everybody plays. There are kitchen parties galore all the time. People jam with each other. It's a way of life. And some of these kids have been playing since they were 4 years old.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me. And the talent it's mind-boggling.
Well, we caught Carlson Fullerton last night.
yes, 6
mean,
years old. I mean, it's just silly.
He's leaps and bounds ahead of what I am at 58. So I thought,
There you are.
you got to shake your head at it, right?
Yep. It really is. It's amazing.
And I've never seen an area like this that has supports, whether it's individuals, organizations, groups, what have you, to lift those young people up and mentor them and sort of carry them through. Can you talk about that from your own experience and involvement in the music industry here?
Hey, look, I've been doing this since I was a kid. I'm not one anymore, but I have been doing it since I was a kid. And this is, I don't know if it's a unique community or not, because I've not spent a lot of time in other communities. But Yarmouth and Acadian Shores, this greater community, Southwest Nova Scotia, they're a community that steps up. What our big strength is our ruralness, our smallness is what makes us big.
Sure.
It's what makes us great. And in small communities, people stand up for each other in whatever way it is. And yes, you're right. When someone wants to be a musician, then usually they're getting that kind of support from their peers, from the area generally. We all came behind things, people like Winter Sleep and Trevor Murphy's band Sluice. Before that, the bands that he had before that, and that's just an example off the top of my head. But with every musician out there, there's that kind of support, and there's mentors everywhere, and it is amazing to me to see how the community comes together to elicit that kind of support.
Because we all go in and launch these local performers, whether it's here at the Western Nova Scotia Exhibition, on the waterfront, the Colgate, wherever. But we never think about, you know, how do they get to that stage, even if they're just starting out. You know, like I said, it's all those important supports in so many forms, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
my uncle plays guitar and he showed me how, or whatever, and you hear those stories over and over again.
Yeah.
You know,
Now Amy's got a little bit of a niche because she's doing original French music.
she has more than just that though. She's crazy talented. She has some English songs as well. She has a cover band that's really, really good. She loves to rock out. Her French stuff is really high quality. It's been working with Mark Durkee. Mark Durkee,
Yes.
you talk about mentors. The work that Mark Durkee has done with the youth that are around him has been nothing short of remarkable. And Mark has worked a lot with Dan Deon. And they're the two who have helped me as Ignite kind of develop this little songwriter circle concept. And Dan is another guy who can play anything. They've gotten together and they've done shows with the youth. They've helped the youth through, and they set up those shows at Paramba. They've been a series of them over a few years now. I'm starting to lose track because I'm old and I forget these things. But they've been doing this for a while now, and it's not just about the music for those guys either, because they'll give the kids opportunities to do the production side of things. They'll help them with and make them do a lot of the sound work. So I mean, there's a lot there that they can latch onto.
How much do you think technology, social media has impacted the overall pool of talent in the area?
No, that's
Do you
an
think
interesting
Do
question.
you think that's made it more accessible?
It's certainly easy to get a hold of from wherever because you can get everything from your phone, quite literally. There are artists locally who, do stuff on YouTube and get noticed. Now, Mark Durkee's one of them, as a matter of
Yes.
fact. I mean, he was doing performances. Mark Durkee was doing performances on YouTube that were noticed by a set of musicians in Greece and asked him to join the band, and he did, and became a member of a progressive rock band in Greece. I believe that they've done work before, and I believe that there's more coming up with that. So it's expanded not just in a small way, because if you get noticed, you can get noticed by whomever. You don't know who you're going to get noticed from. It could be in Greece, it could be in Kenya, it could be in the United States, it could be anywhere. So that's an opportunity in and of itself. That's it's massive.
Yeah. And I think it just opens that much extra doors for everybody. I mean, you get an opportunity. People go on about, I'm going to get my 15 minutes on YouTube or TikTok or whatever the social media of the day is. It's not X. Threads, I think, is new on Thread or Threads. Anyway, I have a hard time keeping up on it. But, certainly if you are looking for support or collaboration with somebody, I mean, it's got to make it a whole lot easier to be able to reach out and say, hey, I need somebody that can play a bagpipe, or I need somebody that can play a theremin.
You can find anybody.
You can find somebody that can contribute.
Yeah, no question about it. And it means that if you have an idea in your head, if you have a concept, it's as easily attained as whatever you're thinking about, if you really have the patience to work to develop that.
So what's your gauge of success when it comes to this youth showcase? How are you? Do you have a benchmark of what you're going to consider to be? Oh, well, it's been great, or is it already there just by the fact that you got people involved?
Hey, people are involved. I'm pretty easygoing when it comes to those kind of things. I'd love to see this spark kind of create more. I do. I want to see more. I want to see more opportunities, and I'm going to be working over the next couple of years. I figure to kind of grow that as much as I can. But we've done a few. We've done a couple of I don't want to exaggerate here. We've done a couple of songwriter circle. We've had youth involved in those songwriter circles. We have some talented youth here who are showing up, who are performing. We're going to get this with Nova Scotia Music Week, these youth showcases and this opportunity. To me, that's wonderful. That's if nothing else happens, then that makes me feel great.
Yeah. Where do you hope the talent takes themselves? What would you consider to be a success when it comes to that?
Oh my goodness! You know what? Let's be honestly, as much as you want it to be.
Yeah.
It's not for me to judge what somebody else's idea of success is. If Amy Hirschfeld or whomever, and that's just a name I threw it, so I apologize to Amy putting her on the spot. But if Amy Hirschfeld only wants to go as far as writing those original songs and getting those produced, and that's the end of it, good on her.
Sure.
And that's a wonderful opportunity to, harness that creativity. If she wants to take it further, that's wonderful too. No pressure on anybody. And I hate to think that, kids are coming and putting that pressure on themselves, because you know what? This place is filled. And again, we just talked about it. This whole area is filled with these ridiculously talented musicians.
Yes.
If what they want to do when they're grown up is play every weekend, well, that's wonderful. It's fantastic. If they want to take it further, that's wonderful too. And what I'm hoping is that if they want to do one or if they want to do the other, that those opportunities are there for them either way.
Perfect. Anything else, Gary?
Have you ever, when you've been performing during a break or after, been approached by a young person, a child, or a parent, and said, hey, my kid's really interested in singing or playing a music.
It doesn't happen often.
Can I have some advice?
Yeah, it doesn't happen often, but it does happen. And see, the great thing is that there's lots of people out there who can help. There are plenty of Mark Durkees and Dan Dayals and thank goodness for Sarah Mew back in the day and what Paramba does now.
The Durkees with the music room.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Dave and Judy Durkee with the music room, where if somebody wants to learn a particular instrument, they can literally borrow it like a library.
Yeah.
It is remarkable
great.
and unprecedented when you think about it. What they do is really something else. I mean, they've got poor Judy. Dave took over the basement, and I mean, he's got rows and rows of everything from electronic keyboards to guitars to basses to drum sets to almost anything you can imagine. He has fiddles and violins there. He has, and if you want to learn,
that's right,
you can do that. You can get a hold of that for nothing, just as a borrow. Decide whether or not you want to use it, and Dave himself offers some lessons. And there are others out there who can offer lessons as well. And
right.
Again, that's how you grow.
Yeah.
Giving the kids that opportunity to try things. Maybe they like it, maybe they don't like it. Maybe they decide that fiddle isn't for them, but keyboard is. But
they took music out of the school system, unfortunately, budget cuts and all those wonderful things. I'll say that sarcastically. I apologize. But, where a hole opens up, somebody comes around in a small community. This is where we live. Somebody comes around and plugs that hole. And the Durkees have done a great job in being able to do that.
Again, in many instances, because we're small, we can be big.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you'll find the same thing in a big city, because people don't think in that community way.
No.
But here, you get that.
Yeah.
And so, again, that's how you grow things. And that's how you make things happen. And it's heartwarming.
So tell us your story. I know you were really young. Oh, because I want to know. I never talked about this with you years ago. You were really young when you started both in broadcasting and as a musician singer. But how did it all start? How old were you when you realized, or your mom and dad realized that, this guy's got some talent?
Well, I'm not sure they realized to this day, but that's another story. Listen, I can tell you this, and we'll stop it at that point. But I'm 4 years old. Tommy James and the Shondells were doing Crimson and Clover, and I said, I want to be a singer. And I always did after that. And I have from the time I was small. When I was small, I was imagining myself, I was listening to WMEX in Boston, being inspired by the songs and being inspired by the broadcasters. I mean, I've wanted to do that ever since I was a very, very small person. And it took until I was 15 to get the courage to show up at the radio station and say, look, I'd like to be on the air. And thank goodness those guys didn't kick me out, and so I've always been.
But if you had done that in a larger center like the city, you probably would not have gotten the opportunity.
Probably not. No, I'm sure that's true. You couldn't do that now here.
Oh no,
Sadly.
no.
And that's really to me a tragedy. But again, those are the opportunities sometimes that you can get in a small town that you can't get otherwise.
And here you are, still broadcasting,
living the dream.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, and both Gary and I have managed to take advantage of a gap in community media by and we're again, hole opens up and something comes along and plugs that hole.
I'm going to say 2 words and then I'm going to disappear. Community radio. Let's add a third one.
Yes.
Station.
Yes.
And then one of these days, I'm going to make one, but that's another story.
Hey, if I took singing lessons, no.
I think
I
you
could
should
learn to sing.
I absolutely think
boy.
so. I absolutely think so.
Only if we put a microphone in the shower. I think it is about as far as it's going to go.
Hey, listen, if it makes you happy, then fine.
Yes.
And we'll leave it at that.
We're just going to turn the radio up.
That's right. It'll be great.
Well, thanks, Wade, for dropping in and telling us all about Ignite's work and all the great things that you're doing as far as promoting and contributing to youth music in the community. I think that's a great thing. It's where things are. I mean, if we can't get the youth involved, it's not going to carry forward.
If we can't get the youth involved, there's no point.
No.
Because that means we're the last generation. And that's not the case.
And we're aging out.
Yeah, that's right. We're all aging out. And so getting the youth involved in everything is kind of my mandate. It can be tiring.
Yeah.
But giving them those opportunities and just seeing what they grab onto. It is really that difficult and that simple.
Well, we'll keep checking in and seeing how your progress goes. We want to talk to a couple of the participants as well, and of course, with Music Week coming up, that's going to be a blast.
It is going to be fantastic.
I've already signed up to be a volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, they'll take me up on my offer to do video or photography work because that's how I can contribute.
They turned down the singing thing.
Yeah. That wasn't even an option. It was all grayed out.
Sorry.
They knew it was me.
Sorry to hear it.
No, you're not. Because there's not enough salted caramel vodka to get me into a state of mind where I'll be able to carry a tune. But
hey, listen, one more thing I want to say before I head out. You know what?
You're late.
I'm late. I'm supposed to be at Monte Carlo night, just over there, because I'm going to be a blackjack dealer here in a few minutes. I got waylaid, but big things. Expect some big things for youth in Southwest Nova Scotia in the next year or two. Now, I have been working extremely hard with a couple of organizations, and there are I'm not exaggerating, there are some big things coming. So be excited. Wait till you hear it. It's coming.
Absolutely. Thanks, Wade. Appreciate your time.
You're getting the fingers.
Yeah.
Just 10 fingers.
You're getting the cue. Thanks again,
so much,
Wade.
Appreciate that.
So that's day 2 for us here at the exhibition. We've talked a lot longer than what we should have, let alone what we normally would. But I think it's been great. We've had a chance to chat with Dave Hall again and Dave Warner about the multicultural. Come out tomorrow. All that multicultural stuff is on the schedule. Check the website. Make sure you're not going to miss out
Yes.
on what you want to get out of the multicultural. For me, it's to taste the food.
Right.
I'm more of a food guy, as you can tell. I don't miss too many meals, but I'm certainly interested in the culinary
Yes.
side of things. So I'm going to make sure I come out and take that in. But certainly, if there's something specific out of the event schedule that you want to be involved in or be here for, check the schedule. Make sure that you're here for that. It's going to be a blast.
And by the way, if you're coming out, it's 100% accessible here. It always has been. And there's lots of folks here to help you. If you get lost, don't know where something is, there's lots of volunteers here, staff here, security folks, whatever. It's just a great atmosphere at the Western Nova Scotia exhibition. And we're going to be back tomorrow
We're
and
going to be here
Saturday.
at yep,
Broadcast starts 5:30
5:30
on our
sharp.
YouTube channel.
And
Please
we
join
promise
us.
audio.
Yeah,
We'll have
that's
audio
right.
now.
We love that. Hey, I'm Gary Nickerson,
And I'm Quinn Taggart.
and this has been Outside My Window at the Western Nova Scotia Exhibition.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.